All right, that's fine. So I'm expecting to see Mr. Godwin share his screen.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can. All right. So okay, go to the query tab.
Okay.
Go to the query tab. Let me see what's there.
These are what the what is.
Click the reconnect to server.
I clicked on it, it just disappeared. So this is what is bringing out. Could not connect. Could not connect. Server may not be running.
Click the server tab.
Okay.
Okay, this one we have client server, dashboard, performance, options server. Click the database tab. We are not connecting to database.
Schema transfer wizard. Migration.
Schema transfer, manage connection. Please go to manage connection. When you click manage connection, what is it giving you?
This is what is displaying. This showing from your end.
Manage connection, manage connection.
Yes. Let me open it again. This is what is,
Click it.
this is what is showing. Is it displaying from your end?
It's not it.
No, nothing is displaying here. You are on manage connection, but it seems you've not clicked it here.
I think the thing just stopped. But okay.
All right. Okay. Close it.
Okay.
All right. Maybe you should. I really don't know why it's doing that. So, okay, go to close it. You've not closed it.
I've closed it. I think it's
okay.
being
Go
delayed.
to schema. Go to schema. Click schema on the navigator.
Yeah, click. This is it here.
The no connection established is still there. Is it still there?
Yes.
Wow. Why is it still there now? We tested this thing in the church together and it
was. I was even shocked because there was, the laptop does not have battery, so there was no light. They just brought light not long before we started the class. So I on the system and I noticed that it's showing this.
Okay, so stop sharing. Maybe you should unlaunch it and launch again. Maybe you should close it and launch again. So all right.
Okay.
So we have a larger class, so I think we should continue with that class. Right. So I gave some tasks to test, our ability in the last class. And then so let's quickly run it. So we are going to do it together in the class, right? So we have the questions already, so that shouldn't be an issue. Here is the first question in here, right? The first question says, this is actually a question from a source I don't know, right? But then I got the question somewhere. Somebody shared with me to help him out at the time, right? A very long time ago. And I've kept it, to test other people's ability, right? So we can see the question in here. You have been provided with a world, all right? You have been provided with a world database. That world database I shared with you, and at the same time, it is on your SQL by default, right? Especially those that are just installing SQL now. Now, this database stores information about the nations of the earth. Now it asks the question, using the database, answer the following question. The first question is, what are the 20 most populated city? 20 most populated city, and it gives a hint. He said, let your table include the following: the city name, right? The city name, the country, district, and population. So, what this means is that we will not bother to say select all, because the question is specific what it wants us to call out, right? So it doesn't mean that we always say that. Somebody, people were thinking that we would always say, if we are doing SQL, we always say select all, select all. Of course, it's not always select all, right? So it wants us to bring out city, country, district, and population. Under what table is that, right? So like I said, the first thing is to ensure that you are on that database, right? You go to your schema and you can see the list of databases that you have on your workbench, right? We are supposed to work on this particular database here called World. So I'm going to double click it, right? And then I'll be smart enough to just look at the tables that are there, right? I'll be smart enough to look at the tables that are there. And I see that that particular database has 4 tables, right? The city table, the country language table, and the language table, right? The questions what are the 20 most populated cities? So you want us to work on the city table actually. That's what I can say there, right? So who can tell us how do we write the statement? Who can write the query for us? Somebody should just volunteer to write it here. Let's do the assignment together, right? Let's do the assignment together. Who is doing something? Mr. Ewa, you've done it. So you can lead us.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. So
Yes, sir.
So since we know what we are looking for, I started with since we highlighted the database already. So I did select star from that select. Then the asterisk, that's select from
Select
city.
all. Okay.
Select
but I'm
all
saying now
from
that
city. Then
yeah, I understand. I'm saying now that we do not need to say select all, because the question already tells us that kindly let your table include the city, country, district, and population. So he wants us to call out. He gives us a pictorial example of how our table should be like after we have called it out. So I'm just going to select. I'm going to say, instead of saying select all, of course, select all will also help us. Please, somebody is making there's a noise from your background. So instead of saying select all, I will just say, let me look at that table. Let me look at that table and see what the column looks like, so that it will help me, right? I can say that the column does not have city. Instead of it has, the question says the question actually says city name. So that is what it meant by name in there. So I'm going to use name, right? So I'm going to say select name, right? Select name, right? Comma. What's the next thing in there? Select name, country, district. All right. Select name, country, right? District, and then what is that? So we want to ensure that they are spelled the right way, right? Select city, country, city is name. I hope you understand. Yes, population. Thank you. So I'm going to say select name, country, district, population. Now somebody will be bothered that the name is showing blue. Already we said that if the text you type on your SQL is showing blue, it means that that word is a keyword in SQL, right? So the fact that name is showing blue right now, it's not going to affect your query. It only means that name also is a keyword in SQL, right? But then nothing's going to happen to your query. So I've said select name, country, district, and population. Now, usually the syntax is select column from table. Now these are all the columns that we want to call out, we want to retrieve, right? So what is the table name? On what table are we retrieving it? Someone should help me. What is the table name? What is the name of the database? What is the name of the database? You select column from table, not from database. Right? Are you there? So it's not from Word. What should it be? Who else is going to try something? Let's look at the question again. The question
Let's go back
says,
to the question.
yeah, what are the 20 most populated cities? So under what table can we see city? So if you look at the database, right? If you look at the world database, you will see these are the tables, right? And then these are the tables under it.
From city.
God, thank you. So it's from city, right? It's from city. So I'm going to say
select from table. From city.
Yes, from city. Thank you, Mr. DMO. From city, right? Now, is that the end? Because I like to share to use my screen like this. I'm going to go to the next. I'm going to go to the next line. I hope you understand.
But do we need to put inside apostrophe?
No, we are not putting it inside apostrophe yet, unless we get to where we are filtering, right? So we don't put all of this inside apostrophe, right? So what are the 20 most populated cities, right? So now I want to sort them. I want to get only 20. Is that not so? Is that not so?
Yes.
So how do I
Yes.
extract only 20 out? What query would help me to extract only 20 out?
Let's check the question once again.
Okay. What are the 20 most populated cities? I need, if I said that, if you just said what are the most populated, what are the city, right? If you just say what are the if you want to see the city alone, I would have just said select all from city and execute it. For example, now if I put in my semicolon here and execute, of course I can execute from this point, and I will have in fact it's not even running, so something is still run somewhere. So unknown column country in the field list. So why do we have that? Let's see the spelling of our country. So I do not have country, right? I do not have country. What I have is country code. Thank you. So country code, and I'm going to change it to country code, right? Now, if I execute this now, it should give me a table. Now, these are the list of the name, the country code, the district, and the populations, right? In that table city. Now the question is saying that I should sort it, right, and make sure that I only have the 20 most populated city, right? So it means I'm going to be featuring with this particular column here, right? Something similar to your Excel, right? So I'm going to be sorting it using this column. So, and what is the clause? What clause do we use to sort in SQL? What sort do we use to sort in SQL?
Order by.
Yes,
Use
order by.
order by.
Thank you. So I'm going to use order by. So I'm ordering it by what? By population. Is that not so? Order by population, because I'm sorting it by population. Right? Now, how do I now? I'm ordering it by population now. So how do I now bring out 20 most populated? Of course, you remember that anytime you use the clause order by, there is a particular clause that should also follow it. Right? Either ascending or descending.
We use the
right?
descending now. Descending.
Thank you. So I'm going to say this. I'm ordering by population in descending order, because the question wants me to bring out the highest 20, the top 20 population. So I'm saying that it should list the highest one at the top and reduce that way. You understand? So already I have sorted it in descending order. Now I want to cut only the 20. I want to cut the only the 20 and have only the 20 so that the rest can go away. I'm not interested in seeing the rest. So what clause do I use here now? What clause do I use here now?
We use the
Greater than
limit.
20.
Limit. Yeah. So that's the limit 20. This is the query. This is the query you issue to the database, right? So I have selected name, country code, district, and population. Those are the columns there, and those are the things we are seeing here. From city, so we are picking it from a table called city, right? Now it's bringing it from this particular table city. Now order by population descending. So this query, this statement here will help us to sort it from largest to smallest, right? Then limit 20 means that cut only 20. I have sorted it from largest to smallest. So from that list, as we are coming down, as it is decreasing from the top, when it gets to when it pick the first 20, it should cut the rest. I don't want to see the rest. So if I run this now, I should have what it wants me to do. So this is you can see now still the same thing, but now the population had been rearranged, sorted in descending order, then cut only 20 out for me. So I have you can see I have from the highest. If you count all of these are 20. Look at it, city 20. You can see it counted it and it gives in the number in there. 20 rows. You can also see from this output message that I have 20 rows, right? So if you have written this query, you are correct. If you didn't write this query, I'm not sure you are correct. Ewa, were you correct? Eh? Were you correct?
Yes, but if you look at the question, they said we should look for. So I just instead of that name, I renamed it as city. I use the alias. I just changed it. That one is.
Okay. So I think
Then
if you use city, I'm not sure it will even run.
My own. Okay, you can check the.
Okay, I'll check
the
what
code I sent to you. Yeah.
All right. So that's the first. That's the first question. All right. Want to say something?
From the question, it was they said we should display city, country, district, and population. But you're only showing country code.
So if you look at the table, let's do something. Let's do select all. Let's say everything that is in that. Let's say everything that is in that table. Select all from city. Right. Let's say everything that is in that table. Right. Now, this is everything that we have in that table. If you look at it, city is not there. It's not part of the column. Can you see? So there's no way, even though it's telling you to select city. So we can look country. Okay, country. Yes, city is not part of the table. Let me see if country is even there. Country is not there as well. You can see country is not there. City is not there. So even though it is writing out this for us in the question, of course, our understanding of the question will now help us to interpret that. Okay, maybe it means if you even read it, it says city name. So somebody who typed this one actually made a mistake. That's what it means, right? It says city name. So you want to see the name of the city. And if you look at the database, right, how it is arranged in the database, it is name that we have, name. So if you have typed city name, or if you have typed city, you won't get it. City is the name of the table. It's not a name on the column. These are the columns. You understand? And we also have, what do we also have there? Country. Is it country? Let me check again. We also have country. So there's no country. These are everything we have. This select all. You can see this is everything we have in it. So country is not part of it. What we have rather is country code. So if you have used country, okay, let me do something
There's
also.
a country from the table if you check. So I use the join clause. Join clause.
You joined it.
So maybe that's
joined
why.
it.
Yes.
Okay, so I think you shouldn't join it.
So
right?
I think that's where, because there's a table for under that table there's city, country, and language. So
yes,
but let's see how it goes.
All right.
So I think that's where the join clause enter. But let's.
Of course, we've not done joining yet. particular class. So I wouldn't have given a question I answer. All right. So thank you for you actually attempted it, and that's beautiful. Right. So let's see. The second question in there says that we have this question enough. So let's quickly look at it. The question says, using that same database, how many official languages are there in the world? How many official languages are there in the world? So the first thing is to know what table are we going to use. Using the database, how many official languages are there in the world? So let's decide what table are we supposed to use. These are the tables that are there, right? What table will look like it? You understand? So the idea is to look at all the tables. Let's be familiar with the tables, right? Let's look at the other table. We can see the city table already. This is what we have in the city table. So let's look at the other table. Select all from, am I correct? Select all from, let's look at the country table. From country, right? Select all from country.
Yeah.
Right. This is the country table, right? It has so many columns. You can see this is the country table, right? And let's see what we are looking for, what the question wants us to get. The question is using the database. Question is actually talking about language. So this particular table does not talk about languages, right? So we wouldn't have used this table. So this table is not our interest at the moment. Let's look at the country language table. Select all from country language, right? Don't forget that I said that your spelling is very important. If it is wrongly spelled, the database will be confused as what it should retrieve. So I have country language here, right? And I'm going to execute this. So this is how the country language looks like. So this country language actually talks about the language. So this is the table I'm supposed to use, right? But then before going ahead to use it, let's look at the last table. There's another language table, right? So let's see what's in the language table. Select all from language, right? Select all from language, all right? And then my semicolon, and I execute, right? Why is the language table not even showing? Okay, select all from language. Okay.
I think
Please,
what is showing there is showing country language.
yeah, but then I want to see this language. So let's see the language. Let's see the columns. It has country code. It has its official. Okay, let me see the country language. Okay, so both are actually the same thing. So, okay, they are the same thing. So I think it's just three tables we have. So we'll be working with this, right? So this is how our table looks like. So you can see the table. If you look at the table, you will see that it has country code, right? It has the languages. So in the world, like I explained earlier, the database is actually trying to gather information about the world, right? About the world. We wouldn't know if it's actually correct as that the real life world, right? If it's actually correct, we would have to have Yoruba in it because it's also part of the languages in the world. But then I'm not very sure that it corresponds. It's just a sample data for us to test with, right? Now, from that particular data, we can see all the languages that exist in the world, right? Dutch, English, Papiamento, Spanish, and all of that. Now, in all of that, we have another column that explains if that language is an official language, right? Now, it means that for this particular country, ABW, you actually don't know what this code stands for, but I'm sure this particular AFG is Afghanistan. So in Afghanistan, they speak this language called Balochi, right? But that Balochi in Afghanistan is false. It's not an official language. You understand? And it's just 0.9% of the population of Afghanistan that speak that language. So it's not the official language. But if you look at this particular Dari language, there's a language called Dari, still in Afghanistan. You can see that the column is official, shows that it is true. So it means that this is one of the official language in that country. And 32.1% of the population of that country speaks the language, right? There's another language, Pashto, in Afghanistan. That language is an official language for them also. You understand? So now what this means is that what the question is now saying that let's see the question again. So question is now saying that in that column, I mean in that table that analyzes the languages of the world, how many languages are official language? You understand? How many languages are official language? So it's now simple. The understanding of the question makes it simple for you. So it means that it wants to count all the ones that have true. These forces are not official languages. So we want to count only the ones that have true. Only the languages that are true. You understand? And because it is saying count, so it means that at the end of the day, what we will have displayed on our screen should be number, because it should have counted them and tell us that, oh, the official languages in the world is maybe 1,000, maybe 200, maybe 500. That is what we should have at the end of the day. You understand? So we're going to write a query to count it. Do you understand it now? So how do we count it now? So we're going to say it's simple. We're going to use the count statement, right? So of course, the statement you use to select, to retrieve information from the database is select. So our select is still valid. So I'm going to say select, right? Now, what are you selecting? I want to count the language. You understand? I want to count the language, right? So I'm going to say select count. You understand? If I just say select language, it's going to list it for me as, okay, let's do it gradually so that you get it. Select what's the language, what's the column called? It's called language, right? So I'm going to say select language, right? From what is the table, right? What is the table name? That is a country language, right? Select language from country language, right? And I'm going to execute this statement, and I have the language. You understand? If I go ahead to say, okay, I want to see it's official with it, I can put it's official, right? So select language, comma, is official from that. I hope I spell it well. Yes. So now this is not the answer to my question. This particular statement it's only helping me to list out the languages and whether they are official or not. But the question wants me to count only the official language. So I don't need this, right? And at the same time, I am counting. So I'm going to say select count. I'm going to use the count function. We talked about function in that last class, right? And that is why I can give this question as an assignment. So select count language from country language. Do you understand it now? Select count language from country language. And I'm going to execute this. I'm not saying this is the right answer yet, but then let's do this and execute, right? Now it has counted the language and all the languages in the world according to the data in that database is 984 because it counted the column called language. The column language, it has counted it. But the question is so specific. It said count only the official language, and the column that is deciding whether it is official or whether whether it is true or false is called is official. So I'm going to filter it. I'm going to filter that particular is official column. I'm going to filter it to true. And of course, what clause do we use to filter in SQL? Somebody should just answer me. What clause do we use?
We use the where clause.
The where clause. Thank you. So I'm just going to say where is official. Thank you. Where is official? I hope I spell it well. Official, so that we don't get the wrong answer. Like I said, if your spelling is wrong, your answer will be wrong. Where is official is equals to.
I think I is missing there.
I is official. Thank you. Official. Where is official is equals to true. You understand? But then T true, T that stands for true is a text string. And you know the rule. Text string should be kept inside, apostrophe. I told you I can use a single apostrophe or a double apostrophe. So I'm choosing to use a single apostrophe here, right? And then I have my semicolon, right? So if I execute this now, you can see now it has counted only the official languages for me. And the official languages we have in the world, according to the data in that database, is 238. It's as simple as that. Do you understand it? Do you want to go through this query again and try to assimilate it? It's very simple.
So,
It's just like I said, SQL is like speaking English. Yes, sir. Somebody wants to talk.
yes, sorry, I was saying that maybe if you don't mind, I can retake it again.
Okay, so I said that the idea is the question wants us to, let's see what's in that table again, right? This is what we have in that table. Now the table has the country code, it has the language, it has another column called is official, which is supposed to tell us whether the language is official or it is not official. Then of course we have this one that talks about, that tells us the percentage of the people that speak it. We do not need this column, right? We obviously do not need this particular column. The question is saying how many, let's see the question again. I can't put it on the edge. How many official languages are there in the world, right?
Okay.
Now, let's first of all know the languages that are there in the world. These are the languages in the world, right? It's so plenty. Look at it. It's long, so many rows. So if we ask you that how many languages are there in the world, it means that it only wants you to count this column. Do you understand it now? We want to count this column. Now, counting this column means that I'm not just going to say select language, because if you say select language, it's going to list the language for me. But to count it, I'm going to use the count function. That is count language. So I've instructed it. I've given it a specific instruction, right?
Okay.
If this information in that column is, if the data type is number, so it means I can do basic mathematics. So I can still comment if it is a number, not text like this. If it is a number, I can still come around to say select some language, then to do the mathematics together. It will this plus this plus this and give us the total sum at the end of the day, right? Sum function is the same thing as the sum function we have in Excel. You understand? But this time around, I'm doing count. The same way we have count function in Excel. You understand? In Excel, we also have we have count blank, we have all other relative of count function. They all work here the same way it works there. You understand? So I want to count only the official language. If I need to count all the language, I'm just going to say count the language. But now, moving forward, it wants me to count the official language. So it means that this column, must be filtered. And you know how to filter in Excel. I always say that we have done Excel before now. So use picture Excel to answer, your question in SQL, or picture Excel to generate your query, your statement in SQL. So now I want to filter this particular column to show only true. I know the way it is in Excel. I'm going to do Control Shift L. If you remember the shortcut that I taught us, Control Shift L, right?
Yes.
So Control Shift L. So if you look at Control Shift L, there will be a filter arrow here, right? If you click the filter, then you see true and false. Then you can uncheck all and click and check only true. Then you will see that this table will rearrange itself and you will see the information that belongs to only true. That is if you are using Excel. But this is SQL. In SQL, we use the filter statement. And the statement that helps us to filter in SQL is called the where clause. The clause is called where. So I'm going to use that where clause to say it the same way it is in English. Where is official? Is official is the name of the column. So where is official is true. T is what defines true, right? So where is official is equals to true. And because the T or true is a string, the rule says that you must keep it inside the apostrophe, which is the same thing we have done here, right? And I'm going to run it. So it's going to count this way. And if I run it, it's counting it for me. It tells me that the number of official language is 238.
88. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. So there is a third question. Using that same database. Okay. Mr. AY said that your own database is quite different. Okay. I do not think so anyway. But then let's see. Maybe we'll check that after the class. We'll check it together after the class if we can create the time. Now the top question says, what are the languages in the world? How many nations speak the available language? So there are two questions in this one. You can see there are two questions. The first question says, what are the languages in the world? So you want us to list all the languages in the world. And this question is quite tricky, right? Maybe I should ask somebody to tell us what he did. I know Mr. Dele did it. Mr. Dele, sir, are you here, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. I know you
Yes,
tried this thing. You shared with me. How did you answer this? The question, let me write the question here. The question says, let me copy it and paste it so that we can see it, right? All right, this is the question. Yes, this is the question here. Using the database, what are the languages in the world? So how did you attempt this, sir?
I select count.
Okay, select
Count.
what are the languages in the world? I do not believe that you should count because it's not telling us to count. It wants us to list. It is not asking us what is the number. It's not asking us for the number of the languages in the world. What are the languages in the world means that it wants to see the languages in the world, the list of it. Like I don't think counts should be used.
Okay.
So
Select all.
Okay, no. Okay, no. I was unable to do that particular one because of my laptop.
okay.
I didn't bring the charger. Yes.
All right, sir. All right. So of course we are still using that particular table. So it's going to be select. If you say select all, of course it will show us all other columns. But we want to be specific here now. We want to see only the language. So I'm going to say select language. I want to see only language, right? Select language from country language. Right. Select language from country language because that's what I want to see. What happened? The word country language doesn't exist. Oh, I didn't spell it well. So you can see spelling is very important. Country language, right? All right. So these are the languages in the world. Meanwhile, I am not saying this is accurately correct. Now, these are the languages in the world. You can see. If I count these languages now, count language. Of course, I counted it earlier. It gives us 900 and something. In that database, it doesn't mean that we have 900 and something languages in the world. The reason is simple. Please pay attention to my reason, right? Maybe you can present this answer to some people, they will just take it like that. But then be critical with me. Now, let's see everything in that. Let's select all in that column so that you can connect with what I want to explain. Select all from country language, right? Select all from country language. Now look at it. These are the countries, even though we're not using their name, right? We're using the code. So look at Afghanistan, right? Afghanistan speak, okay, let me not use Afghanistan. Look at this country called ABW. ABW speaks English. Can you see? ABW speak English. Now, if I go there, I'm sure I will see another country that speaks English. Let's go there. We've seen English for ABW. Look at this AIA. This is another country. It speaks English, right? Another country will definitely speak English. This is another country. Maybe this is Antarctic. I can't really get what the name is. They also speak English. So many countries speak English. So if I just go ahead to say to query the database that select the language from country, it will list everything here for me. It means that it will also repeat English as many times as possible. But if the question is saying what are the languages in the world, it means that just list the language. Once somebody speaks English, English has been listed once. I'm okay. So I don't want to say that ABW speak English, UK speak English, England speak US speak English, Nigeria speak English. English is already occurring multiple times. So if I count it, that will be wrong. So what we are interested in seeing is the distinct language. We call it distinct language in SQL. In Excel, it is unique. You use the unique function to sort that. But in SQL or Power BI, we'll get Power BI from Thursday, right? Power BI also set it as distinct, right? So what I'm going to do instead, right? Look at the query I wrote earlier. You can see English is here. If I keep scrolling down, I'm sure I will see English again. Look at English here. So it has counted English twice. So I want all the languages to be counted uniquely, just once. So instead of saying select language, I'd rather say select distinct. Select distinct language from country language. So if I execute this particular one now, you see that English that appear once will not appear again. I'm not sure I will not see English again. So all of them will be appearing just once. You can see I'm not seeing English again. It has counted it once. Even this VEC, once I've seen it, I'm not going to see it again. So that is distinct language. So now I have the list of all the languages that are spoken, that are spoken in the world, all the languages that exist in the world. So if I count this now, I won't have 900 and something as I had the other time. So if I say select count, right? Count distinct language, right? If I count the distinct language, I won't have 900 and something. So you can see that the distinct language is 457. You understand? So what we actually want to see is the distinct language. I hope we are clear with that. Any question? Any question with that? So this is our answer. This is a query that answers that question. You understand? This is a query that answers the question. Okay, if there's no question, we have answered 3 questions. We have 3 more. Are you saying something? Is anybody saying anything? All right.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so there's this part that states that please display the country code, the country name, and number of languages spoken. So are we going to leave that part or country code?
That is number.
Okay, that's number 4.
That is number 4. Okay. Yes. Now that is the first part of the question. That is the first part of the question. Now look at the second part. How many nations speak the available language? I've even done it. So the second one wants us to count it. You understand? So the second one wants us to count it. So I will just count, which I've done earlier and then deleted and then cancelled, right? So I will just count it, select, let's on this, okay, select counts. All right, you can see now. So this is going to count it. This is the list of the countries. This is the list, and this is the count here. All right, Mr. Godwin. So the count is 457. Mr. Godwin, let me hear you.
Okay, sir. I just wanted to confirm. I said what you did where you removed those to cut those the languages to become one. Is it safe for us to say the same thing we did on Excel where what do you call it? There was one thing we did on Excel where removing of duplicates. Can we say it's duplicate that we are removing from this?
Yes. Remove the duplicates. Same thing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So the countries are the English was occurring often. I mean, so we remove it. It's duplicating. So we just remove the duplicate. It's the same thing. Thank you very much. Yeah, that is the same thing. So let's see the fourth question. Using the database, how many languages are there by country? Right? Using the database, how many languages are there by country? Now, this will involve a particular statement that I'm not sure, clause that I'm not sure I mentioned in the class. But let's look at it together. Now, the question is saying that how many languages are there by country? So we'll look at the country and we'll look at the languages that that country speak. That's what it's asking us. You understand? How many languages are there by country? How many languages does each country speak? That's what it's asking us now. And how do we attempt it? Right? We are still under the same table, under the country language table. So I'm going to say select. Let's see what is there. He wants okay, he said please display the country code, country name, and number of languages spoken. So we are going to display country code. So we'll say select country code, name. There's no country name in there, it's actually name that is there. So there is country code, that will be correct. Then number of languages, right? Let's see how the table actually looks like so that it will help us, right? So we have country code, we have languages, we have it's official, so we don't need this, But he wants us to display number of languages. If you look at the question, he wants us to display number of languages. But do we actually have number of languages? We do not. But if you remember in the last class, I thought I gave us a way to do it. There is something we call alias. So we are going to create an alias here. And let's see how it will go, right? So I'll say select country code, select country code, right? Name, is name even there? No, name is not there. So, okay, language, name is the language, the name of the country. No, the name of the language is language. So we can't pick a name. There is no name, right? So I'm going to say name. You understand? I'm going to say name. However, we may be able to pick name if we have done what we are supposed to do today. And I think we need to quickly get to that because of our time. And if we have learned about join, we'll just join because there are other tables that ask the name. You understand? But for now, we can't do join because we have not explained it in the class. So we'll take name out of it. So instead of using the name, we'll use language. We'll use the language. All right. All right. What else is there? What else does it want us to list? Country code, country name, and number of language, right? So we'll say now to get the number of language, we do not really have the number of languages yet, but we need to count the language, right? So we say select country code, then count language because that's what we want. We want to count the language, count language, right? Thank you. So we are counting the language from city now. From city, right? Now this is not going to be the end, right? Now we need to discuss how we want to group it. You understand? So we want to group it by country. By country, this is the country. Like we have ABW in 4 places, so we can group it. So there is a new clause that I didn't list in the class that is called grouped by. Grouped by. So we're going to introduce that clause to say that group by. You understand? We are grouping it by country code. We are using these names to group it. So we're going to say group by country code. So I've just included a new clause for us, as we can see, right? Group by country code. You understand? Group by country code. And I think that should be all, right? We are grouping it by country code.
The country is missing N.
The country is missing N. Thank you.
N.
Group by country code. And if I execute this now, I should have what I want to have, right? Okay. The column language in the unknown column language in the field. So there is no column called language. Let's look at our column again. we actually have language. So why is it telling us that we don't have language? Okay, let's look at that again. All right, so we select country code, yeah, then we count language. Select country code, we count language from city, right? From city, then we group by country code, right? And that's all. It's telling us that, let's see what it's telling us again. Telling us that unknown language in the field. Okay, it couldn't have been capital letter anyway, but let me run it again. Okay, we still have the same error. Select country code, count language. We are counting the languages grouped by country code. Okay. All right. So basically this is a statement, right, that should work, but then it's probably not coming up for a particular reason. I'll look at this error again, right, and then we can treat it maybe maybe before the end of the class. We'll actually look at it to treat it. But then this is how the statement is arranged. We have selected country code. What we want to see is the country code, right? What we want to see is the country code. We want to see the country code. We want to see the country code. We want to see the language, which are these. This is the country code, and here is the language, right? And of course, we are picking it from city, right? Now, what we want to do now is to now count the languages that ABW speak, right? It's going to count their language. That's why we are grouping it. We are grouping it by country code because this is country code A. So the expectation is that it will group this as one. Instead of listing ABW 4 times, it will list it just once, right? And now count all because we are counting languages now. We are not listing the language. So to count all this language under ABW as 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And place it in front of it as 4. You understand? Then count Afghanistan. How many languages does Afghanistan speak? It will place it on it. Of course, here we are not giving preference to whether it is true, whether it is official or not, right? So that is what this particular query that we have written, that's what it means. However, it's not showing up, but then we're going to look at that for the end of the class, right? And maybe we'll probably return to that. What is the total population by continent? Here, what is the total population by continent? And I think that is typically direct. Meanwhile, let's look at this particular language. Let's look at another table and let's see what is there. Maybe we are supposed to pick it from another table. Let's see the country table. Let's work on the country table. So let's do select all from country, right? Okay. So for this particular number 5, we would actually need to use for this particular number 5, yes, because the continent is listed under this table, under this country table. So this is the continent here. We'll need this continent, and to link it to this particular city table that we have, we need to understand join. So we're going to postpone that number 4 that does not respond, this number 5, and the last one after we are done with this class. So after this class that we want to start now, we'll treat it again because we actually need some of the stuff that we need in this class. We actually need it. All right. So let's paint this assignment. I mean, this task we've been attempting. Let's paint it and let's get to class. So this class today we'll be looking at what we call the SQL join. right? And you may want to maybe get a jotter as usual to jot something. We are looking at SQL Join, right? And of course, the explanation around it I've mentioned over time also in the last class. Now look at it. These are the tables under this world database. 4 tables, right? 4 tables under the world database. The city table, the country table, the language table, and of course the country language table and the language table. Now, all we've been doing, the 3 exercises or 2 exercises we've done before now, we picked information from a particular table, from a single table. We were focusing on a single table, and that has no glitch. It just goes directly. It goes without issue, right? But look at it. Look at our very last query here. Select country. Select distinct language from country language. We are picking the language from that country language. But what if the case? The case means that we should pick a column from the city, pick another column from country, and pick another column from country language. You understand? So it means that we are going to be accessing 2 or more columns. 2 or more tables at the same time. So in a case as this, where we have said select all from country language. Now, if we need to select from 2 languages, where would we say from? Where would we select from? Would we say select all would we say select all from country language and the country and city? How do we position the language? That's the reason to understand join. The simple meaning or the simple task in there is that we need to find a way to combine the number of tables that we want to, pick our information from our data from. We need to combine the tables together. So as it is now, in the case of, let's return to our database that we've been using as an example, right? Which is the amplified database, right? So the amplified database, we have 3 tables, and particularly we are using the order table and the person table, right? Now, let's look